Hey, it's the Refine Reseller. Thanks for tuning in. When you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll learn tips and tricks on how to become a very successful eBay seller. So please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let's get started. So right now, I'd like to share with you some items that I sold for $75 or more over the last 60 days or so. So the first item I have is rather strange, kind of weird. I found it at an estate sale. It was in the kitchen. I thought it was a blender. I started looking closer at it and realized it was not a blender. It was this thing that puts oxygen in water. It's called a Vitalizer Plus Advanced Structured Water Oxygenation Technology System. So I plugged it in, put some water in it, turned it on. It worked great. It kind of made a little tornado thing in the water. And I put it on eBay and I sold it for $279.99, having really no idea what it was. So for me, sometimes the stranger a thing is, the weirder it is, those kind of things sell. So always keep an eye out for unusual things and always check them out to see if they've sold on eBay. All right, not too long ago, I went to an estate sale. I walked into a closet and they had a bunch of men's shoes that were in boxes. They had never been worn and they were vintage shoes from the 1980s. I bought a number of them. I put them on eBay and I soon found out that there are vintage shoe collectors that spend a lot of money buying vintage shoes. Again, these are probably 35 to 40 years old. And let me show you what I sold. The first pair is this pair of Florsham shoes. They were, I think these were new in the box, and I sold these for $299. I sold this other pair of Florsham shoes. I got less, but I got $199. Not too bad. Then I sold this pair of Johnson and Murphy shoes for $199.99. And I sold this pair for $169.99. I also sold this pair of Nettleton shoes. I had never heard of this brand before, but I put it on and it sold for $199.99. So that's 200, 400, 600, 900. That's over $1,000 worth of shoes if I did that right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, over $1,000 worth of shoes that I sold to some shoe collectors, somewhere across the country. So always keep an eye out for vintage men's shoes. All right, next up is this Mattel cat gun. It is vintage. I bought this at a garage sale. When I saw it, I was pretty sure it was valuable because it's from the 1950s. It's made by Mattel. I put it up and I sold it for $139.99. I also bought this Bosch vintage mixer. It's a mixer and it's also a blender. I got this in an estate sale. I looked it up. I saw where it sold quite well. I put it on eBay. I sold it within a day and I got $149.99 for it. Again, keep your eye out for vintage kitchen appliances. I seem to do quite well with those. Next up is this Fresh Air by EcoQuest air filter. I bought this at a garage sale. It was new in the box. I sold this one for $119.99. I bought another one at another garage sale that was not in the box, but I think I got $69 for that one. So these air purifiers do sell, so keep an eye out for those. Next up is this, I got to read this, Laundry Pure by EcoQuest Clothes Washer Water Treatment Appliance. Again, this was at an estate sale. It was new in the box. I had really no idea what it was. I looked it up and I found out that you use this with your washing machine without having to use detergent. Never heard of it before. Maybe it's one of those kind of green deal things. So anyway, I put it up and I sold it for $119.99. Another kind of weird, strange item, at least for me. All right, next up is this vintage 1960 rotary swivel head phone. The head swivels around. For those of you who've never seen a phone like this and are just, so used to your cell phones, this is the kind of phones they had back in the day. I put it up and I sold it for $99.99. I think it would look great in a man cave. I really do. So maybe that's what they bought that for. All right, next up is this pair of vintage cowboy boot spurs. They're called Gal Lady Leg uh, because there's a leg of a lady on here. It's made out of silver, I believe, and copper. And I actually bought two of these at a garage sale. The other one wasn't quite as ornate as this one. I sold this one for $99.99, and I sold the other pair for $59.99. I didn't pay very much for them, but as you can see with these items that I'm telling you about, I do really well with vintage items. So I always look, for items from the 1950s, 1940s, 1970s, and so forth and so forth. So keep an eye out for vintage items. I talked earlier about kitchen appliances. Here's another one. This is a Vitamix. I have bought quite a few Vitamixes over the years. I picked this one up at an estate sale and I sold it for $97.99. Next are these Nissan Titan bed cleats and in-stop kit, new in the box. These sold for $89.99. I had them up probably for about 6 months before they sold, but they eventually sold, which is always a good thing. Next is this vintage 925 sterling silver 30 strand liquid silver necklace. It's 30 inches in length. It weighs 1.75 ounces or 50 grams of silver. I got this in a estate sale, and I put it on eBay. It sold for $89.99. I'm always looking for silver and gold. I bought some gold the other day. I ended up getting, I think, a total of 7 grams. The value of that melted is right over $200. So if you're ever out at an estate sale or a garage sale and you come across some gold, I do carry um, a, a scale, a very small scale that weighs grams or ounces or whatever you want it to weigh. I put the item on there. I see how many grams it is, and I get out my my phone, not my computer, but my phone. There is a couple of websites, or probably quite a few websites. They are gold and silver melt calculators. All you have to do is put in how many grams the gold is, for instance, and what carat weight it is, whether it's 10 carat or 14 carat. You push a button and it will tell you exactly what the melt price is. That's what I did before I bought this. I realized it was worth more than $200. I didn't pay anywhere near that. So I think I'm going to keep it. I think right now gold is at about $1,700. I think it's going to go up. So it's in my safe and I am just going to keep it, 2 or 3, 4 years, see what happens. All right, next is this Honeywell DT907 dual technology motion sensor. I bought this at an estate sale. It was a business that had gone out of business. They sold security equipment, fire alarms, that type of stuff. I got over 100 items there. This was one of those items, and I sold this one again for $79.99. All right, next is this vintage Vietnam stamp collection. I saw this at a garage sale. I don't know anything about stamps, but there were more than 1,200 in this booklet. I looked through them. I'm thinking maybe I could sell them individually, but you know what? That's way too much work. So I just put them, I sold it all together and I got $79.99. I do have a feeling there might have been some valuable stamps in there, and whoever purchased this got a really good deal, but I really didn't have the time or the knowledge on how to list this. So I just took a shot. I made money on it. I probably could have made more, but I'm not a stamp collector. And you just cannot be an expert at everything. You got to kind of pick and choose, and stamps, it's just not one thing that I pay much attention to be honest with you. All right, finally, I bought 40 ties at an estate sale. I talked about these in another video, which you can check out right here. And these ties actually have started selling. They are ties by somebody named Stefano Ricci, I believe is how you pronounce the last name, Ricci. I sold this pair for $79.99. I also have some Tom Ford ties. I sold this pair for $79.99, and I sold this pair as well for the price you see right there. So anyway, those are just some items that I've sold recently for more than $75. If you add it all up, it's more than $2,000 worth of sales on eBay. I made a really good profit on these items, and what you need to look for are vintage items and weird items. The more uncommon they are, for me, the better they sell. So anyway, this is the Refined Reseller. I now have over 1,000 items listed on my eBay store. You can check it out at Definitely a Maybe. That's the name of my eBay store, Definitely a Maybe. And do like me, buy low, sell high. And if you like this video, please subscribe. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.